Hey everyone, my name is Donovan and I'm going to talk to you today about PeaceJam. So PeaceJam is most easily summed up as Nobel Peace Prize winners mentoring youth to change the world. Now we do that through three fundamental pillars, and that's education, inspiration, and action. When we talk about education, we're looking at award-winning service learning, inter- and intrapersonal curricular tools that can be used in schools, community organizations, and really anywhere where young people can be motivated to make positive change. Inspiration comes from 13 different Nobel Peace Prize winners, including His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Betty Williams from Northern Ireland, Rigoberta Menchú from Guatemala, and several others from all over the world. And then action comes in the form of youth-driven service projects addressing the root causes of problems faced by young people's communities and communities all over the world. Now, when I first heard about this program, I thought it sounded great. I thought it sounded fantastic. I couldn't understand what it really looked like in the real world. And so what it looks like is it looks like young people in New Mexico going into prisons and recording parents who are incarcerated, reading children's books, and bringing those recordings back to the inmates' kids. Because maintaining that parent and child connection not only instills a value and an appreciation of reading and literature, but it also helps to break a generational cycle of desperation and incarceration. It looks like a group of teens from Dharmasala in India digging 850 feet of trench and laying down pipelines to deliver clean water to over 300 Indian slum residents. And then going on to teach those residents how to responsibly and sustainably ration that water to preserve access to that clean resource in their community. Now, again, I looked at this when I first heard about it, and I said, how have I never heard about this program before? And that's what I usually get when I talk about this program. And the answer is that most of the people involved in PeaceJam are too busy sort of in the trenches. They're working with kids. But that all changed 2 years ago, on December 5th, 2012. You can see our founders here, Don Engel and Ivan Suvjanev, and also a man named Meng, who's the jolly good fellow of Google. And now his job description is actually really interesting. It's to create the conditions for world peace in his lifetime, which just so happens to be our job descriptions as well. And so he found out about PeaceJam, got really excited, thought it was really googly, and wanted to join forces. And so what happens when these two organizations come together? And the answer is things like PeaceJam's 1 Billion Acts of Peace campaign. In 2008, 10 of our laureates came together and issued a challenge to the young people of the world. And that challenge was to enact 1 billion different acts of peace, addressing the 10 largest obstacles to world peace internationally. Now, these are not easy topics. They're really vast. They're really daunting in scale. You can sort of see what kind of scope we're talking about. But the laureates believe that by acting locally and addressing the pieces of those issues that we find in our local communities, we truly can affect global change. So how do we activate a global initiative like that? And the answer is to turn to technology. And who better to partner with than an organization who's constantly breaking new ground on the technology that's connecting us to one another. And so with Google, we've been able to do things like our Connected Classrooms initiative, where we bring together our Nobel Peace Prize winners with our program students all over the world for periods of time to talk about how to overcome the issues facing their communities. And through their infrastructure, we've been able to revamp our web presence, to foster better networking between our groups that already exist and reach out to new ones. And they've also, like I mentioned before, helped us to rebrand and relaunch our 1 Billion Acts of Peace campaign that's kicking off this May at the Social Innovation Summit at the UN. But the part that really I think gets me is that if you think about a generation of young people who are focused on peace, who are focused on service, who are focused on taking nonviolent action to make positive change, who are connected through a constantly emerging sort of genre of technology. And you think about then 2 or 3 generations of those same people who are growing up in this global community of practice, the kind of change that can be affected, the kind of positive peace work that can happen is really pretty astonishing. So while I think that these Ignite talks are amazing, and I've been incredibly inspired by hearing everyone who's spoken today, and I am so excited about this conference because it's bringing together a community that has long needed a real concrete stepping stone towards forming. We want to really invite all of you to come and partner with us in this global call to action and to help us reach our goal of 1 billion acts of peace, whether that's doing something yourself in your community or with your new innovations. You're all change makers, and we want you to be part of it, so please come and help us. Thank you.